You might be a member of BNI, and if you are watching the right video. If you're not, maybe you want to stay around and learn what BNI is all about. However, we are here today to talk about why you aren't getting referrals from your BNI chapter. And I'm excited to explore this conversation with you from the hopes of we can increase those referrals and get you what you're looking for. Do feel free to share your questions and thoughts in the comment section, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, or on YouTube. You can comment and I will see those and we can answer live. Do know if you comment on Facebook, I'm looking at this little print here, use your name in the chat or go to chat.restream.io/FB and that will let us know who you are. And so I want to look at this question of why you aren't getting referrals. And it was interesting. I think we were in an event last year. So in December 2022, Tom Fleming and I were doing a presentation on your profitability plan, your giving plan, your goal setting. That can be found on YouTube from the US core region, actually, if you're looking for that. And this question came up of, I'm in BNI and I'm not getting referrals. And so I was like, okay, I'll do a live, as I like to do when we get questions, to answer those that you have. And so what if you aren't getting the referrals that you want from BNI? My first instinct when I hear this question is asking, so tell me, how many one-to-ones do you do on a weekly basis? How many referrals are you generating on a weekly basis? And the reason I start with this question is typically people want the referrals, though, are they doing the work for it? Sometimes people get into BNI and they're all about, oh, I want the magic pill. Give me the referrals. I'm here. I've paid my money. Where is it? Though we have to remember BNI core value of givers gain. If you want to gain, then you need to give. I find that of minimum, my goal is I want to be doing at least 2 one-to-ones a week. Though we do like to say he or she that does the most one-to-ones wins. So this instance, more is better. So doing those one-to-ones can be very powerful. Now, if you want to make sure you're getting your most from your one-to-ones, I do love this BNI podcast that Tim Roberts did recently. I was really excited about it because I've used this technique for years, but now I can just say, check out this podcast. Sorry, a little dry this morning. So BNI podcast 683 by Tim Roberts, one tool for hundreds of referrals. This is one thing that I love to do in my one-to-ones because it doesn't take a lot of additional time, though it does give the opportunity to generate referrals. And if I'm doing it for you, you're probably doing it for me. So we're both working together on making those referrals and the relationships happen. So I ask for y'all's forgiveness. I am getting a little dry. I'm going to pop a cop drop in. If I had a guest like normal, I would just let them talk and do this. So I appreciate your forgiveness. Should be good to go now. And so if you're not getting referrals from your chapter, number one, look at yourself. Am I doing the things that I should be doing in the one-to-ones, in the referrals? And that video I mentioned actually will help you figure out how many referrals that you want to give in order to hit your revenue goal. So you can check out, put in Tom and Tiffanie BNI goals, and it should pop up a video that walks you through a process, spreadsheet, all that fun stuff. Though do know, if you're like, I'm still struggling a little bit with the referrals, I am hosting a 5-day referral challenge. This will be happening at the time that we're recording this video. It's happening next month. However, we do host these a couple times a year. So do check out bit.ly/TK referrals. All right. So that's taking into consideration, what are you doing? Another question that comes up though in this question, what if? There's ghost of BNI members past. So unless you happen to be in a brand new chapter that has nobody, everybody's brand new, then there's a high likelihood that there are relationships that have been established prior to you getting into the chapter. Now, I do understand that we have relationships outside of BNI, perhaps, even if we're in a brand new chapter. So there could be, whether it's the ghosts of the BNI members past, or just people that they have relationships in their past that might be going on. And we do have to overcome that. Though I think we want to take a step back first And remember the VCP process. So if you've never heard of the VCP process, it stands for visibility, credibility, and profitability. If you're not in the BNI realm, I will usually say visibility is like the know, credibility is the like, profitability is the trust. And so your know, like, and trust, or the VCP process. And essentially all relationships go through this process. And we're looking at, do they know me? Do they like me? Do they trust me? And it varies how long does it take to get to that know, like, and trust, depending on a couple of things. Number one, it depends on you. Are you showing up on time, prepared, ready with your weekly presentation, your featured presentation, calling and responding to text and emails promptly? All of that will help you build that VCP. Versus if you're late, unprepared, you have your camera off on Zoom, that could be hurting you. So that's one factor. The second factor on how quickly does it take for us to get through the VCP process is your profession. So what we find is the more tangible the product or service, the less expensive, the less risk, the easier it is for you to move through this process. Conversely, the more money, the more time, the more intangible your product or service, the longer it's going to take. When a florist, when a restaurant, when a hairstylist comes into the chapter, well, maybe not the hairstylist, there is a little bit more risk there. But definitely the florist and the restaurant, it's pretty easy to go and spend money. We're going to have a great meal. We'll have a bouquet that lasts us for a bit, or we won't. So there's not a lot of risk involved. Versus if I'm turning over to you $250,000 of my own, or maybe my mom's investment to have you manage, that takes a lot more time to build that trust. I remember there was a gal in my chapter many years ago, and she had been in for about 9 months. We were doing the 9-month review at the time, and we were looking at, okay, are you going to renew? And she's like, Tiffanie, I really haven't gotten much. And so I don't think I'm going to renew. Kind of chatted about it. During her 11th and her 12th month in her membership, she went from getting hardly any referrals to she was averaging 2 referrals a week because she had finally hit that profitability peak. Now, the hope would be that then she decides to renew because it's finally starting to come in. Didn't really happen. And she didn't renew. And then she lost that momentum that she got when she was building up. I know a financial planner that it took him 18 months to get his real first referral that had any to it. However, he's been in BNI for almost 18 years now because it worked out. It just took a while to ramp it up. Real estate takes a while to ramp it up. Jason Avery, one of my BFFs in the incentive and BNI realm, it took him quite a bit too. His first year, I think he got 1 referral, and it was his second or third year when things started happening. Now he has a robust and flourishing business with what he gets from BNI. So sometimes we have to work through it. BNI is not a magic pill. I took it, I get referrals today. We still have to build that know, like, and trust. And the beautiful thing about the meeting, the agenda, the structure, all of that is it's in place to help us build the know, like, and trust. We just have to make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do. So if you're dealing with those ghosts of those in the past, there's that. Now, let's say you've got somebody in your chapter whose mother, brother, sister, spouse, best friend does what you happen to do. And you're probably never going to get referrals from them. And I know that hurts a little bit. However, that doesn't mean that there's not potential. So sometimes we have to get creative of how could I help you in addition to just passing me referrals? So I love that question. How can I help? So maybe you're not going to pass them prospects, but could you pass and introduce them to additional referral sources? Who are the people that can pass them business all day, every day? Maybe they could help book you a speaking engagement, sponsor an event. Get creative for how you can help people. I think we want to have all of our relationships in BNI work, though they don't all have to be one size fit all. It doesn't have to be I pass you a referral, you pass me a referral. Maybe there's other things that we can do to help each other, even if you have somebody close in your life that does what I do. Let's see how we can work that out. Now, the last kind of question that came up in this conversation I was having with the member is, oops, that one's not it, is what if the chapter isn't hearing me when I share what a good referral for me is? And I know this can be very frustrating because it's like, a good referral for me is, can't you just go find this person? So usually when people say I'm not getting what I'm asking for, I want to hear, what are you asking for? And are you being specific? Because specific is terrific. One of my favorite BNI-isms from when I started BNI back in 2005. Be specific to be terrific with your referral request. Because if I just say I'm looking for any business, nothing comes to mind. I'm looking for anybody, nothing comes to mind. When I ask you for a small business, 98% of the businesses in the United States are actually classified as a small business. We're not helping here. When I start getting really specific, though, it makes a huge difference. And back before I do what I do now, which is help entrepreneurs have more referrals in their business, I had a promotional products company. And I asked for the firm and car dealership on 54. And for a month, that was my weekly presentation. Now, it wasn't the same weekly presentation every month. I talked about different aspects. My ask every week was the firm and dealership on 54. Now, during that month and to the end of my promotional products days, I never, ever, ever got the firm and dealership on 54. And if you're wondering why I want that one, it's because it's a mile and a half from my house. I walk by it all the time when I'm taking the puppies out. So I just wanted it because it was close. During that month, though, I did get referrals to 5 other car dealerships. And so while I didn't get what I was looking for, being specific, I was able to get something close, or a couple of them are even better. So if you think about it, people can work from really specific and kind of go to general versus they can't go from general and work their way in. So really, if they're not hearing you with what a good referral is, I would challenge is, are you being specific enough? And sometimes if I'm having some fun, I might, if I have the name of the person picked out, that's how specific you could be. I could go to LinkedIn, see who in my chapter is connected to that person on LinkedIn. And during my weekly presentation, I could say, y'all, I am really dying to meet Susie Q. And I'm super excited because on LinkedIn, Mary, Joe, Tom, Susie, a different Susie. And I could even list out, these are the people that are connected on LinkedIn and I would love your help. And so you're being specific. Don't put them on the spot. Don't harass them. But just like, I was really excited that you're connected to them. And maybe if a good referral to the prospect isn't working for you, perhaps you could ask for a good referral to the contact sphere relationship, those non-competing industries with the exact same target market. So I know I've covered quite a bit of stuff here today as we're talking about why you aren't getting referrals from your chapter. And I get it, it can be frustrating, and I'm hoping that this video helped relieve some of that frustration. So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the chat or in the comments. What are you thinking if you're not getting those referrals? And I oftentimes think, instead of thinking I'm not getting the referrals from the chapter, let's look at the individual relationships with the members that we have and really work on making those as powerful as possible. And when you're asking, remember, be specific. Now, if you're still thinking, Tiffanie, I need more referrals, again, I mentioned in that 5-day referral challenge, you can go to bit.ly/TK referrals, and that will take you to the page where you can sign up for free for our 5-day more referral challenge. Our goal is to help you double your referrals in less than 30 minutes a week. So I want to say thank you for joining us. Hopefully now you're going to get those referrals. Reach out if you have any questions or comments. Happy to help you as you create your success in BNI and life. Happy networking, y'all.